everything in life experience is relational, right? That's really what everything is. That's what we're doing all the time, is relating. Whether it is with an individual, another person, or a situation, or an experience, or an object, or the moment itself, or ourself, reflectively, internally, having an experience, a sensation, if we're relating to ego, to an emotion, to a physical sensation, it's all relation. It's all relating. This is just musing. This is just something that is occurring to me and that I have a desire to express. It's come up more and more, this term transactional. I find that this term is helpful for me. And it has been. It's just a word, obviously. It's a pointer, as all words are, and nothing about this conversation is new. But something about this word has repeatedly come up for me and helped me understand, is helping me understand how to, I would say, be in right relation, which is just flow, which is just a natural, relaxed, open, receptive, non-resistant state. Right relation with self and all that is, because of course all that is myself. And I first started to understand this in terms of relating to other people, and specifically loving relationships. It's most abundantly obvious as the opposite of unconditional love. If your love is transactional, if your relationship with another human being that you call love, a loving relationship, is transactional, then it's like a business contract, right? Does it have requirements? Does it have conditions that have to be met in order for the love to be felt, to be given, to be shared? Are there specific expectations? And if those expectations are not met, then the contract is null and void, that sort of thing. It's obvious, and it's obvious looking at it that way, that there are so many relationships between humans that are that. They are not unconditional. They are transactional. They are heavily conditioned, and really ultimately about control. It's about manipulation. It's about getting somebody else to behave in a particular way. And when they meet those standards of behavior, when they check those boxes, when they jump through those hoops, then they're given the reward of your love, your approval, whatever it is. And so obviously that's not love. It is the egoic form of relating that many of us have been taught. And not only have we been taught to engage in this form of relating with one another, platonically, as well as more intimately, romantically, but we're taught to engage with ourselves in this fashion. We're taught to, it bleeds over into everything. Everything becomes a transactional relationship. Not just love and connections, not even just platonic connections, but our connection to the very moment. To this moment itself, we start looking at the moment as something that can serve us. we start looking at everything as, well, what do I get out of this? What's in this for me? What's on the other side of whatever this is, this moment, this experience, this sensation? What's on the other side that makes it worthwhile? And then, I mean, you can feel how clearly that detaches us from presence, right? Because now we're not focused on being, we're not focused on here and now, we're not in a state of acceptance, we're focused on this imagined future place where we're looking for a benefit, we're trying to predict, and we're judging, this heavily laden with judgment. Is this worthwhile? We characterize everything as good or bad. And when we do so, we're relating transactionally. If it's bad, then what can I do to mitigate it? How can I get away from it? If it's good, then I feel justified in my interaction. I'm judging it as good. And I have some reason, I've created some reason in my mind that it is good and therefore worthwhile. And it's no longer about the interaction, the relationship itself. It's no longer about the connection. It's about the result. It's about an outcome. And it's not genuine. It's not genuine. It's egoic. And it keeps us out of presence. Because presence is connection. They are the same. And whenever we are disconnecting by relating in this way, we are disconnecting from ourselves, we are disconnecting from presence. And so what I noticed more recently is that I was engaging in this sort of transactional, conditional relating with my body. That instead of treating my relationship with my physical form, my body, as an opportunity to connect intimately with something that is intimate, something that I am inhabiting, something that is providing me this sensory experience. Instead of connecting with it, I was viewing it as something that was meant to serve me. I made it subservient. And I put it on the other side of this contract. This contract that said, if I fulfill these terms, if I do these things for my body, then I expect these results. If I move my body in a certain way, a certain number of times per week, if I feed my body certain foods, and I don't feed it other foods, if I engage in these specific behaviors, if I give these specific things to my body, then I have an expectation of these results. I expect to experience strength, I expect to experience vitality, and I expect the body to take care of itself, to give me health, in essence, because I am providing it with the tools that I believe it needs for health, or that I've been told, or whatever. And this is a transactional endeavor, clearly. And so, as a part of that, if either side of that contract isn't upheld, there's bad feeling involved. If I'm not upholding my side of the contract, then I feel guilt. If my body doesn't respond in the way that I expect it to, and that I am demanding it to as a part of this transaction, then I experience anger and frustration. At no point in this equation does unconditional love enter the picture. At no point in this equation is there true connection. Connection for the sake of connecting. Connecting with this, my body. A sacred vessel. I am the only one who connects with my body in the way that I connect with it. I'm the only one who can. It is here to be with me, and I am here to be with it. There's none of this service. I wasn't loving my body unconditionally, and this has nothing to do with what is eaten. It has nothing to do with the way that one moves or with what frequency. I wasn't listening to my body. I was just treating it as a business prospect, as the other side of the contract, as a means to an end. And that is totally missing the point. It's totally missing the point. My body is not a means to an end. Nothing is a means to an end. There is no end. It's the most egoic thing in the world to be focused on an end, some sort of achievement, some sort of goal. We've got to have a result, a purpose. There must be a reason for this, something that we're reaching for. Totally misses the fucking point of existence. And it's not loving, and it's not present, and it doesn't feel good. And none of that is a judgment of it either. It's not to say that that's bad. It's just pointing out the simple fact that it doesn't feel good. And it's not what I want. And since then, I have been endeavoring to relate to my body truly unconditionally, to connect with it for the sake of connecting with it, for the desire of connecting with it, for the pleasurable experience of connecting with it. And I'm not asking it to serve me, and I'm not making myself servant of it either. There's no serving here. There's no subservience. We are just connecting as equals, as shared witnesses of consciousness and the experience of it and the expression of it. And in doing so, in just connecting with my body, I feel more vibrant. I feel more alive. I feel more supported. And none of it, again, has anything to do with nutrition or exercise. Because I'm not trying to master my body. I'm not trying to control. I'm not trying to dominate. I'm not trying to get my body to serve me. This is not a serving relationship one way or another. We're just connecting now. We're both good. We're both well. There's nothing to achieve here. There is no end to become a means to. We just are. We're just existing. We're being and experiencing being and the marvel of that together. And so I'm noticing more things that I have related to transactionally. The other day, I was feeling physical pain. And it's easy to, and I noticed there was this narrative about pain, right? This narrative that says pain must mean something. Pain, the experience of it, the sensation of it, is either bad, right? It's a problem, and therefore it is a problem to be solved, to be worried about, to be altered, to be prevented, whatever. Or if I characterize it as good, it's still pain. And it doesn't really make the pain less painful. If I call it good, it just becomes some sort of suffering that I'm enduring to reach a later potential benefit, right? And that's where this sort of like pain becomes strength. That type of bullshit enters the picture. Where I'm like then purposefully causing myself pain and thinking, oh, I'm becoming strong from this pain. And so either way, I'm actually relating to the experience of pain transactionally. I'm characterizing it, I'm giving it a narrative that it doesn't have. I'm making up a story about it that paints it in one of these lights. And that motivates, fuels my reaction to it. And neither one of those reactions, even calling the pain good, neither one of those reactions is truly acceptance. It's truly unconditional because I'm applying the condition of the pain being good in order for me to accept it, right? It's in order for me to accept the pain, I'm calling it good. That's a condition, and it's not fully true. There's a different level of good, yes, in which all things happening are good, but I'm noticing more that when I use that word, it engages the brain. It engages the brain. I think I just have to stay away altogether from the word good because it frames things in a way that is not helpful. It is still characterization. It does still It brings ego into the picture. It becomes a judgment, even though, again, there is a deeper level of good, a deeper level of well-being that all things abide within. To use that word, it's so commonly in the mind, it becomes polarizing. Anyway, to call the pain either good or bad was a part of conditional acceptance. Either I was conditionally accepting it or I was obviously rejecting it. Neither one of those is true allowance. And I realized I was painting pain, the experience of pain, into this narrative that it didn't have, that didn't exist. What if I just allowed the pain to be? What if I allowed the experience of the pain in this moment to not have any meaning whatsoever? It doesn't have a meaning, it doesn't have a purpose. The pain is not here with the purpose, it's just here. It is just what is. And when I did that, something opened up. There was this space around the experience of the pain, and suddenly it wasn't threatening in any way. It wasn't meaningful in any way. It didn't really matter. It just didn't matter. And it became something that wasn't bothersome. That wasn't really uncomfortable actually anymore. It was still pain, but it didn't bother me the way that it was. And so I realized I was relating to sensation, to experience itself in a transactional manner by demanding that it have a purpose, either good or bad, by demanding that it have a reason, it have an explanation, instead of letting it be the reason for itself, instead of remembering that everything simply belongs to itself. It's not here to be of value to me, to anyone else. It is not here to achieve some end. It is not here with a goal. It is not here with a purpose. It has no result. It just is. And when we stop relating transactionally to existence, we connect with it. I connected with that pain as presence, naturally, without guiding myself into some place of this is what I'm feeling. I am going to, pain is presence, and I am, I'm one with it. There was no fancy mental footwork or anything. It was just realizing, oh, I'm forcing this sensation and the experience of it into a narrative that doesn't exist. What if I just let it be what it is, without a meaning, without a story, without a goal or a reason? It just is. And then everything else just drops away, and it's just me and the sensation just sort of looking at each other and going, hi, here you are. Here I am. Here we are. Okay. No story, no bullshit, no narrative, nothing else surrounding this, no pressure, no expectation, no meaning. It doesn't matter. It's just what is. It's safe to just fully connect here because it doesn't mean anything. We're just here. There's total permission to fully experience one another in this space. And now we're genuinely connecting, and now we're genuinely present without trying to be. To just experience the moment and everything it contains, every sensation, every emotion, to engage with ego in this way. So this is now where I'm being moved into, is recognizing that I have engaged with ego in a transactional way, and emotions, and instead of making up all of these stories about what it means for ego to feel something and for me to be experiencing that feeling, it doesn't mean anything. There is no goal. There is no purpose except to be, except to exist, except to experience this in this moment. That's it. That's it. There is no result to have my focus distracted by. There's no result. There is no meaning to analyze, to uncover. There's no understanding to be gleaned. There's nothing to understand. This just is. Just relate directly to it. Just see that it is. It is not for any reason. It just is. And so experience the isness of it. It feels so very obvious. It happens so very immediately in that perspective. We are being guided into this, into relating to ourselves, to one another, to everything that is, in a manner that is not transactional, but is fully accepting, fully unconditional. And that means seeing truly that all of the purpose and the reason and the whatever is just made up. It's made up. It is a narrative. And that narrative inherently involves judgment. It involves a characterization of the experience that is not true. And when we drop the story and we simply let it be what it is for no reason, we actually see it clearly for the first time. We actually see it and engage with it and relate to it directly, truly, honestly. We're actually connecting intimately with that experience. And it's totally different. It's totally different. It's so simple. It feels like being a kid on the playground, seeing another kid and saying, do you want to play in the sandbox? There's no thought there. There's no judgment there. There's no story about myself. There's no story about this other kid. There is just kid, another being, and I want to engage with you. Do you want to engage with me? Okay. Let's experience something interesting. Let's witness one another and express ourselves fully. There's just no it's so natural and straightforward and clear. And just, there's none of the fucking bullshit. Anyway, I gotta get going. But that's all I wanted to share is I've been noticing the multitude of ways in which I have engaged with life experience, related to life experience in all that it has to offer, in a transactional way. I am aware that that is not what feels good. Really, that's it. That's all that matters. It's not good or bad. It just doesn't feel good, so why would I do it? It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like a true connection. It doesn't feel like I'm really there. There's a level of dissociation to it. There's a disconnect. And what I want, because it feels good, is to connect. And I'm grateful for the experience of transactional relating, because it's revealing to me what I truly want. And again, there's no judgment in it. There's no guilt around it. It's just, oh, I've been connecting with this and this and this and this in a way that actually is not connecting. I actually have not been connecting. I have been transacting. And I don't want to do that anymore because it doesn't feel good. So let's experience the wonder of connecting with body and with emotions and with pain and with sensation and with the moment itself in a way that is not transactional. It does not have any expectation. There is no purpose. There is no reason. There are no questions to be answered. There's nothing to be understood. It simply is. Here we are in it, immediately, directly, intimately connecting. That's it. Take it easy. I love you.